Hi, and welcome to a brand new eShop video. Late last year, the government announced that £86 million worth of funding will be given to local government authorities to help improve their cybersecurity. In light of this, eShop has partnered up with SEROCU, or the South East Regional Organised Crime Unit, to provide you a playlist of 5 cybersecurity videos which go over the best practices within cybersecurity and help protect you and your organisation. In video 5 of this playlist, we talk about when a local government authority actually got hacked and the impact that had on them and the learnings that we can pull from that incident. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Jez from SEROCU, and he's going to talk to you about the different types of cyber crime actors that could impact your organisation.
Hi there, my name is Jez Rogers. I was a police officer for 30 years and I'm currently a member of support staff. I joined the South East Regional Organised Crime Unit cybercrime team over 4 years ago now. Now, although I've done many things in my long policing career, none of them were technical. I do not come from a technical background. This presentation is not going to be technical. It doesn't need to be. Regional policing. I've mentioned that I'm with the South East Regional Organised Crime Unit, maybe a new concept for some. Let's imagine law enforcement in the UK as a pyramid. At the base of that pyramid are the 43 traditional police forces in England and Wales and our colleagues in Police Scotland and Police Service in Northern Ireland. The next tier up is us, 10 regional organised crime units. And as the name suggests, we were set up to deal with organised crime, of which cyber is just another flavour. We are able to work across borders, so we're not constrained by county or police borders. We work nationally, we work internationally in the pursuit of organised criminals. And the next tier up, the top, the pointy end, if you like, of this pyramid is the National Crime Agency. So they're the ones that hold the strategy for, in this case, the National Cybercrime Strategy, and we as the regions output the resources and deliver that strategy to the public. Important partners that we work with is Action Fraud. So they are the one-stop shop for all cyber and fraud reporting. They are the ones that you need to speak to, as they have the expertise to triage your information, triage your report, and get you to the best, most appropriate law enforcement resource to help you out. And then I also must mention the National Cyber Security Centre. They are the public face of GCHQ, who are our cyber spies. They work at the very top end of the cyber ether, and we gain an awful lot of our information from them. And of course, we point to them for their resources and for the information that they're able to disseminate out to us as law enforcement, which we can then pass on to the public. One of the questions we're often asked is, why does cyber sit with regional organised crime units? It is just an organised crime. It's a different flavour of organised crime. The bottom line is criminals want our money, want our data. So what is the journey to that? Because most of these crime actors don't start at the organised crime level. Script kiddies, a word out of their world, not a word out of ours. Young males, self-taught, sat at home, in the comfort of their bedroom, the safety of their bedroom. The adults around them, both professional and personal, haven't got a clue what they're doing. They're just happy that little Johnny isn't out there mugging old ladies or setting fire to bus shelters. He's on his computer. What harm can he do? Well, actually, he's gaining access to tutorials from the Wild West that is the internet, and he is launching attacks, and he's learning his trade. You've got the insider threat. Now we'll split that in half. We've got the malicious insider. We all know somebody who comes to work just because they've got to pay the bills. And they're disgruntled. And if they weren't to get their annual leave, weren't to get their promotion, they might say, do you know what? I'm inside the company network. They're going to get it. I've got access. I can create mayhem. Now again, with access to the crime data, the victim data that I have, this doesn't happen very often. The probability of a proper insider threat is low. The impact is massive, as you can appreciate, because they are in that network, they can do damage. But before we leave that, many of us can be the unwitting insider threat. We don't understand phishing. We don't understand password management. There's a number of things we don't understand, and that's not a criticism of us or even a criticism of our bosses. Who's ever told us about this? Who's ever told our bosses to tell us about this? This is an evolving landscape. The threat landscape is dreadful. And we need to understand it, but we've got to do some awareness training. So we can all be that unwitting insider threat. And then also in this world is corporate espionage. Now, I won't spend much time on this because it is a bit James Bond, but it'd be remiss of me not to include it. You can imagine if I worked for a particular industry and there was an unethical competitor, they might say, hey, you come across with a USB stick full of blueprints, we'll make it worth your while. Hacktivists. Activism with an H. Now, I'm old enough as a police officer. When I started, it was all in black and white. And I remember in the early 90s spending an extremely long weekend on my hands and knees with a number of other colleagues searching Milton Keynes shopping centre, looking for and finding improvised explosive devices hidden inside cassette case boxes. Doesn't that date it? They were planted by the Animal Liberation Front, who had an issue with a number of shops in the centre. Now look at this. Why, as an activist now, do I want to start messing around with explosives? Harder to get hold of. I may lose my fingers or worse. Why don't I attack your organisation that I've got an issue with? Why don't I take down your network? Why don't I take over your website? Why don't I have that impact and reach from the comfort of my own living room? So now we'll move on to organised crime. That's what we are. Organised crime. This is just another flavour. Now, many of you will have heard around about gang affiliation of young people, of county lines where vulnerable youngsters are groomed by invariably Mr. Big, but Mr. or Mrs. Big, packed full of drugs, sent out to rural places to do it on the behalf of the Mr. Big. This is exactly the same. Organised criminals want your money. They want to make money. So hang on a minute. They might be sat there thinking, I don't understand this space, but I know there's people out there that can do it. Let me get hold of these vulnerable youngsters that are good in this space and get them to do my ransomware attacks. Get them to do my cryptocurrency mining. Organised crime, just a completely different flavour.
Thank you, Jez, for explaining to us the different types of cyber crime actors that could impact us. In the next video, we'll talk about 2FA and why it's a crucial step in protecting your data. Subscribe down below so you don't miss that video and any of the future videos that we may release. Thank you for watching, have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.